And we are live, friendly neighborhood film watchers. It is Frankly Football. I am your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Honey Grant, set it off, Chris, with me. How you feeling tonight, Chris?
What's up, man? We late running
Mm-hmm.
around, man. Trying to catch a little bit of work here in these streets, man. But
Yes,
we had
sir.
talked a little bit before, did a little video out there. Appreciate everybody that took a peek at it, gave you boys some love, gave us some love. And man, we kind of on the tail end of getting into right before the big game here on Sunday and kind of laying the groundwork of what frankly football will be doing going forward. But we can't go forward until we go back. How back? Way back. The song we say. And
Way
talk
back.
about the way back, man. And talk about this football team, man. And we had some different things going on. And we're going to have to retire an adage that we have used
Ah,
time and time again. And it's kind of been a staple for us here at Frankly Football. Bruh, we can no longer blame it on Kellen.
and it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing, right?
I think it was a necessary thing due to reports, but I think it's something we were all hoping to happen. We were saying, hey, changes need to be made. The front office didn't do us any favors, but the guy called the plays, man, had finally ran his course for us. Talk
Yeah.
about it, B.
So for many a moon, we have said, and like you said, it's been a staple here. Kellen did it. Well, Kellen can't do
Kellen.
it no more, Chris. Kellen can't do it no more. Kellen cannot hurt us
Okay.
anymore.
Right.
We can come out from under the bed. We
Right.
can be safe around the house. We can walk around the hallways freely
Right.
because Kellen can't do it to us anymore.
Got you.
Um, Kellen Moore, his key card stopped working at the start. He was relieved of his duties.
Absolutely.
We have split amicably, and then he was immediately hired by the Los Angeles Chargers. You know,
Good luck for him.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We wish him the best in his.
No, we wish nothing but peace and blessings on him and his family.
Yes,
I had the vehicle gassed up so you can get going. Hey, way to go, Kellen. Yep,
absolutely.
yep. It was just one of those splits, man, that we had seen the very best of Kellen. Uh, he did his 4 years, and once he left, it got to the point where everybody was like, "Oh my God, oh, poor Kellen. What are we gonna do without Kellen?" You know, but let's be totally honest. We are not saying that Kellen Moore was a terrible offensive coordinator. He was a very good offensive coordinator. His numbers showed that he was more than serviceable. I just think it got to the point for us here in Dallas. 15 years of the same offense has shown us it was not. We needed something new and we needed something different. What you think about that, bro?
But Chris, Kellen Moore was only the offensive for the coordinators for 3 or 4 years. What do you mean the same offense for 15 years?
So glad you could ask, my boy. For 15 years, we have ran an aura, a kind of wayward system that was either the Eric Coryell, Jason Garrett, Scott Linehan, Kellen Moore type system.
Mm-hmm.
An era where it was more about with option routes and my guy's better than yours and nothing to the point where it caused stress on the defense. We go back and look at guys like a Des Bryant, amazing athlete. Let's just go get it. He can out athlete the guy. But we never ran a concept where it was to the point where we routed or schemed guys open, right? You
Yeah.
would turn around. That's why you could kind of walk the mold of certain players could come here and you kind of got a cookie cutter system. And we're going to go over that in a little bit more detail, what the Cowboys like in certain players. But none of these systems were made to the point that if a guy was a technician in certain things, he had to kind of stay inside that mold. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why certain people would voice it out loud like, yeah, we working on this in practice, but when we go to the games, we don't run it.
Yeah.
So, um, with Kellen being gone and that mindset, that offense being gone, I think it just opens up the door for certain players who have not gotten on the field here in Dallas to have that happen with a different regime and a different scheme.
Okay. Uh, and I think it's interesting that you say that because historically, um, we haven't really looked at down roster guys, and I know that that's kind of a contradiction, right? Because Noah Brown got his shot this year. He was like a wide receiver 5 in 2021 and in years prior to that. And then he jumps up to your wide receiver 2 this year.
Right.
But historically, we haven't really looked at down roster guys and found ways to really utilize them. This is what Noah's fifth, sixth year on the team,
Yeah.
and he just got his shot. Um, Teams that are really able to fully utilize their offense are able to make use of their whole position group of their whole wide receiver room, not out of
Right.
necessity, but due to creativity.
Right. So
So
go ahead. Keep going. Go
I
ahead.
I think that if we're able to make full use of our new possibly West Coast based offense, which Mike McCarthy, if he is running his playbook, which that's what he has historically ran, then maybe we could see some changes there. What do you
Well,
think?
you're definitely gonna see changes because, like you said, down roster guys. Let's just go down the list. You turn around, you would have a guy like a Cedric Wilson who's no longer here. He doesn't get fully utilized or even start seeing the field on a regular basis to his third and fourth year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Noah Brown, you say he's been here 7 years, but most of the time he was not being utilized outside of being a blocking wide receiver. When he came on the field, you know what he was going to do. And that goes to the point of where there's too much thinking and not enough just playing and doing. And I think that's where guys like a Des Bryant with his superior athleticism could flourish. He would, just, hey, listen, I'm just going to be more athletic and more dynamic than this guy. Not great on nuance, just I'm going to be more athletic. And then when his body started to fail him from injury and time and things of that nature, we start saying, oh, now Dez can't run routes. He can't do this, right? But you don't get in the NFL that long not doing that. But when you solely hone in on his athletic ability, then when that goes away, it hurts. So then you turn around and have a guy like Amari Cooper come in, who's a technician, a route running monster, and then he gets out here and he starts doing his thing. But then when
Mm-hmm.
he starts calling out the deficiencies from the OC, then it got to the point, well, this, and the third, he's a problem. He's this, and we got to get him. And we're gonna, because of his salary, it's so much we got to get rid of him. Nah, that's not the issue. The issue has always been to be an option routes to the point where you can't just go and play. You got to think and play. And if I got to think and play, I've got to be one step slower. So I think with a new regime, a more instance on causing conflict in the secondary by guys running routes, and it's not to the point I gotta think what the defense is going to do. No, he's got to react to me. I don't have to react to him, and I think that's going to be the benefit of bringing this to some wide receivers. And so I think this offense has some pieces that they can use. I'm not saying we don't need to upgrade certain areas, but I think it's just going to be a better system for everyone involved, from our quarterback to our running backs that we have on the roster to the ones we may bring on the rosters to some of the ones we release. I think some of the wide receivers who we've been looking for them to go ahead and start making plays, the Simi Fiocos and the Jalen Tolberts, they'll be able to get their career kick started, as well as giving just another level to Ray Dakota Prescott's mindset and what he can do on the field by just being in a different system.
Okay, and I'm glad you started naming names because I was just going to ask you, who do you think can benefit from this change? Simi, Jalen, Shoot, I'll even name another guy. Dang it. Punt returner.
Kavontae Turpin.
Turpin. There we go. Turpin.
Kavontae Turpin can benefit from it.
These are guys who were never able to crack open a spot in the offense. Why do you think that they can do it now?
Well, going back to what I said before, like if you do anything right, you go from awkward to mechanical to natural. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at our first videos 2 years ago, we were just out here. Our flow with each other was kind of like, okay, you take it, I take it. Now it was awkward. You know, it was kind of choppy. Then we became more mechanical. Okay, you talk for this period of time, you talk for this period of time. And then we just became natural where we could bounce off each other. I could feel when you came to an end, you could feel when I came to an end. And so it just becomes more natural. I think what happens with a lot of these players, they're trying to learn and learn and learn before they can go do. For Will Grier, right? Let's take it like this. Will Grier at West Virginia coming out was a far better, more known prospect, right? than Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
Will Grier says the hardest part about this thing is you're learning so much in this offense, right? And it's hard for you to take that from the classroom to apply it on the field in the limited amount of time you have, and then take it and perform it at a high level on the field. I think what has happened is that sometimes guys have been put in certain areas that, had it not been for other guys playing, they wouldn't have flourished the way they did. Let me go in detail with that. I think if you don't have Amari Cooper on in this system, and Amari Cooper not being the high IQ football player he is, and him able to play where he's at, and then CeeDee Lamb coming in to this system and having to learn it and things of that nature, getting him in the slot and just learning a few basic things helped him ease himself into it. That now in his third year, you see, he flourishes to a certain extent because he's had 3 years to stay in the system and learn it. Cedric Wilson, same way. 3 years in the system, start getting on the field, we start seeing what he could become. You know what I'm saying? I think the system was far too complicated, yet it was effective because it's it's a stat gobbling system. Let's be honest. For the last 4 years, it has been a stat monster. We have been top 5, top 6 in the league every year. And so I think it's great.
At least the last 3 years.
Last 3 years. So it's great at getting numbers, but in the times when you have to go rely on one part of the offense, you don't have an identity. You just got a lot of great plays. And now you got to start thinking on the fly. Last year in 2021, all 5 of your losses, the guys said, we know what they're going to do. We got the blueprint. We know what we got to make them go do. And there was nothing that we could counter. There was no counterpunch to what we were doing. If we couldn't get this off, we were in trouble. In all 5 of those games, you go back and look, Denver did it to us. Kansas City did the same thing to us. The Raiders did the same thing to us. The 49ers came out and did the same thing to us. And that's too commonplace. So I think with the change of coordinators in the direction of the offense, it's just going to be better.
Okay. Now, first I'm going to talk about, obviously the elephant in the room being that Mike McCarthy is taking over plays, and then I'm going to move over to the new offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Mike McCarthy, has a lot more on his plate now. He has a new offense, and he's going to be the one calling the plays. Previously, his first 3 years here, obviously Monday through Saturday, amazing coach. But on game day, we didn't really see him do too much, and on top of that, certain, head scratches that he may have had in regards to clock management, etc. How do you think that him handling the play calling may affect him?
I think what ends up happening that Mike has always naturally been a play caller. Remember, he came in and he said, "I'll never go back to the point where I don't call my plays." And I think
We
him,
saw how long that lasted. He
yeah,
immediately
yeah,
didn't call plays.
yeah. So I think he turned I think he fell in line to say, "Hey, I'm going to let this young guy do his thing,
Mm-hmm.
let him continue to learn and flourish and blossom and do what he's doing." But I think, but also there were times there was a big philosophical fist fight in the room. For Mike to come out and say, "Hey, I've never seen a system with as much option routes ran in the world." It's just, I'm paraphrasing. He didn't like the fact there's a lot of option routes, and then he said that time and time again. So I think what ended up happening is that at times when he expected them to be more explosive or being able to lean on certain things because there were option routes, it just put too much emphasis on the wide receiver thing out there instead of him just doing. And it over and over and over, you would get guys here and you'd see them have off seasons. You was like, "Oh, you're waiting for this guy to do this," and then you don't see them starting to flourish until late. Dude, we've had Tony Pollard on this roster for 4 years. Me and
Mm-hmm.
you have been fighting for years to say, "Hey, get this guy the ball." Now, year 4, he shows he's a Pro Bowler. He's explosive. He should get the ball more. Then he gets hurt. And so I think it was just, the final straw to say, "Hey, are you going to conform in any of these ways?" And Kellen showed you time and time again, he didn't. He wanted to throw the ball 35, 40 times. That's what he wanted. And so Mike says, "Hey, listen, this is not going to benefit us short term nor long term, being to the fact that we have a 7-year veteran quarterback and we're trying to get this out of him. We're taking draft picks and we got guys sitting here on the bench and now we're trying to figure out, can this guy do this? Can this guy do that?" And more importantly, when the ownership takes away pieces from you, you can't plug and play pieces you already have here to get anything from them. I mean, for us to be sitting here right now together, getting ready to watch a Super Bowl game where your offense, you walked out on game day, week 1, Noah Brown, who has been a career number 5 wide receiver, and have him to have to play a significant number 2 snaps is criminal. It's criminal that you couldn't get Simi Fehoko on the field or get any time from Jalen Tolbert, and you had to bring up a guy like Dennis Houston to play. The offense can't be that goddamn complicated, bro. It can't be. So I think it was just the best thing for, hey, Kellen, to move on. Let's figure out. Mike said, "If I'm gonna die on this hill, dadgummit, I'm just gonna die
He
on
gonna
this
go
hill.
down with the ship.
I'm just gonna go there. If I'm gonna be on here with the band playing when the ship going down, god dang it, I'm gonna do it myself."
But it could be that some of those guys just got in the coach's doghouse and never got out. And I'm pointing specifically at Tolbert in that one. I think that after the false start situation where he was past the line of scrimmage, he never got out of the doghouse. To only have 2 catches for 12 yards on the year, it was over for him at that point on the year. Of course, he may have a second off season where he'll be able to learn the new offense, which being a second year player may be kind of a disadvantage for him. He'll be able to get bigger and stronger, but to have to learn a new offense, albeit under the same coach, he'll have a lot under his belt. Now, Simi Fehoko, his time may be running out. Not gonna lie to you, but that's kind of a thing for another show.
Okay. Yeah, we won't dive into that. We won't dive.
Yeah.
I think I don't think it's a hit on Jalen or Simi or anyone, because this is the third year of inside of the old regime. The third year is the year you start getting it. If you go back and look at camp, Simi had a great training camp. He was bullying guys. He was a guy we were looking forward to seeing on the field. I think if you go back and he fits the mold of what you want in a Cowboys wide receiver, my God, we can't go in there. But he fits the mold.
Yeah.
He's big. He's
I,
fast.
I sent you a list of guys, and,
Right.
and I should have pared it down to guys who fit their mold because I got an iPad right here, and I got another note of guys
Yeah.
who fit their list. But
Yeah.
this ain't a draft show.
This ain't the draft show yet, but
Yeah,
it's coming.
yeah.
But I think these guys get an opportunity.
Mm.
Jalen will benefit from being learning how to be a professional wide receiver, and I think he kind of learned the business this year. But he also will have an opportunity to go back to running nines, sevens, fives, threes. You know, the route tree, and I think that's what he'll be able to go. He said, "Hey, if I line up here, I run a seven, or if I on this play, I run a comeback," and he'll start going and doing that. And you got to understand how mismanaged or how crazy this is because you turned around and a lot of this, I've been thinking about. But hey, man, I know we here in Cowboy Nation. If you have any time, go check out Skywalker Steele's show this morning. He killed it. It was like great minds think alike. He just had an opportunity to do it at 8 o'clock in the morning. But you have guys who did not have the opportunity to just be wide receivers and run routes and do things that they would normally asked to do inside this offense. Way too much thinking. For you to turn around and bring in a guy like T.Y. Hilton and not be able to effectively utilize him and his knowledge and his skill of doing certain things, it's just coaching malpractice how hard it is for a guy to get on the field here under the old regime.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it's kind of like a contradiction in a ways because Dennis Houston got on the field. Dennis Houston had meaningful snaps. Come on now.
Hey, man, listen. But were they meaningful or were they just snaps? That's the question.
It was the first game of the year.
But hey, man,
it was the first game of the year.
But yeah, I mean, okay, they had to put somebody out there, and it'll always go against Jalen that he couldn't beat out Dennis Houston. That is true.
Shameful.
Yeah, it is. It's the scarlet letter he'll have to carry. He'll have a DH on his chest for a while because that's gonna be something that's gonna hurt. Hey, man, shout out to everybody that's just kicking with us this late. It's 10:19, man. We appreciate you, falling in on us, man, and kicking it with us. But I believe that the offense will be able to be expanded and guys will be able to be utilized better underneath Mike in this regime, and I think it'll help out a lot. So I think that's a great thing. But like I said, we got the most we could out of that relationship. I think we got the most out of the Kellen Moore, Rain Dakota Prescott situation. And we are now, after 15 years, getting a new look and a new just a new regime on deck.
Mm-hmm. They finally got divorced. Now they wearing less and we wearing less and going out more. So.
They weren't kicking no more. They weren't. No more smoothies. Yeah, we just gotta we gotta split everything down the middle and we let them go and do it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So go ahead.
The next hire, the guy to replace Kellen is Brian Schottenheimer. And as soon as Kellen was out the door, Brian's name was the first on the list. He may not have been the first hired, had to fill certain Rooney Rule interviews, which it kind of sucks that it goes on that way. It's like meaningless interviews. And for somebody that looks like me, cool. I'm glad that they get the chance, but right. I hate that they don't really get the chance. But that's like a conversation for more impactful times,
right?
But
I'm just glad. Listen, let's be honest. I'm just glad that they even tried to follow along with the rules, of doing it. And I was excited about both guys. The one coach out of Carolina, because I was thinking they were going to go more power-based offense, power running type offense, and I was totally excited about it. But Brian Schottenheimer, tell me what you think about him.
So he had a long history in Seattle. I'm
Okay.
happy about that. That means that we have a high likelihood of preparing to reestablish. Um, and that is something that if the Cowboys, which reports came today, and I'm not sure if it's reports that can be trustworthy. You have to consider the source and things that Tony Pollard could be franchised, or if the Cowboys draft a running back in any high to mid round this year, or anywhere, because I trust our scouts more than 31 of the other teams. Um,
I'm gonna say 30. It's only one other team that I believe they draft exceptionally well. I
mhm.
mean, I just love the way they draft. I love how the Ravens draft. The Ravens are like they sit there with a ham sandwich. You just let the great players fall to them every time. I love that. So,
Hey man,
but yeah,
um, they got to prove it, man. They got to prove it.
yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
um, so if we have a solid, proven running back or prospect, I believe that McCarthy's track record over the past 3 years, in combination with Schottenheimer's history with Seattle, and Jacksonville to an extent, because while he was a passing game coordinator with Jacksonville in 2021, but uh, what was the running back with Jacksonville? Not ETN, but uh,
You
oh
talking about
man,
the undrafted guy, the Robinson kid, James
yeah,
Robinson.
James Robinson. Yeah,
Yeah,
he balled out kind of with Jacksonville unexpectedly.
he did
Um,
exceptionally well.
and he even did well in 2022. That earned him an opportunity to be traded close to the
Absolutely.
deadline.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks to a high likelihood of the Cowboys preparing to either have high likelihood to establish the run or have a
Mhm.
very balanced offense.
Yeah.
No more beating your head against the wall, and having horrible situational awareness, and overly committed to the pass like Kellen Moore did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think and Joe Sandberg said in the chat, he said it best. You got under Brian Schottenheimer the last um that we've seen the greatness, the last highly effective efficiency of Russell Wilson under
Yes,
Brian Schottenheimer. And
yes.
that is a great testament of what you think you'll get with the Cowboys, where Brian was dealing with shoddy offensive lines, but
Hmm.
he was able to still run the football effectively and be that guy there. So I think you'll turn around, you'll get a guy who's going to be able to play the run off, play the pass off of the run, have a good strong commitment to the run. Pete just wants to play great defense and run the football. Now you've got the ability for getting Rain at his best, but able to open it up with a more short, effective passing game, West Coast style things, and get the best of our wide receivers. So I think Brian Schottenheimer is a excellent addition to what Mike wants to do. I think Mike is going to kind of run the system where, hey, I'm going to do the play calling, but I'm going to have Brian here doing the day to day stuff about building what we want to do, getting our philosophy to our guys and teaching it. And on game day, like one the same. I think that's the move, man. Andy Reid has done it for years with him and Eric Bieniemy. I think that's the way to go. I just think you got to have a guy who has the same idea and mindset of how he wants your team to look. He hasn't had that for the last 3 years. He had a guy who wanted to do it this way, and out of patience and out of needing a job and out of understanding he's trying to get this done, I just commend Mike for sitting there for 3 years trying to cook a steak, and the guy's burning his steak, but he's got to sit up there every week and talk about, yeah, I like my steak. I like my steak well done, knowing damn well he want that thing medium. He want it smoked and medium well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I definitely think that now that Mike has a guy that is quote unquote his guy, um, he'll have a bit more cohesion in his offense because Kellen was never necessarily his guy. And that's something that you see a lot when a coach has a new regime, like you stated.
Right,
They bring
right.
in their guys. Mike begrudgingly stuck with Kellen Moore.
No doubt, no
Um,
doubt,
Likely under the compulsion of the Joneses.
no
Uh,
doubt.
so now that he does not have Kellen, hopefully he'll see a little bit more success because, you know, obviously multiple reports came out that there was some tension as the year went on. Obviously, after the first 2 weeks, um, when there were some issues in the offense, Mike would say, "It's not this ain't my baby." You know, it, Kellen, I don't even know the terminology. He did not claim it.
Yeah,
Which may have been the smart move.
right.
It's not the offense that he runs. So he distanced himself from it whenever possible. Now he's taking control of everything, so he has no one to blame but himself. That's taking full accountability of it if it fails.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Let me take accountability of what happened. Let me go ahead and say, hey, if I'm going to die, like we said, if I'm going to get ran up out of here, I'm going to get ran up out of here doing it my way, which shows you, I think, the level of respect he's garnered from the Joneses. Because when Jason Garrett was like on his way out, he said, "Hey, listen, you took play calling from me. Let me
Mhm.
call my plays." And when he asked him to do it, they said, "Hell no, we ain't letting you call these plays. We gonna around. We gonna run with him." And that's why Jason, his final year, was like, "Hey, I'm backing Kellen because he's trying to do what the company guy would do, which is commendable by Jason." But I think Mike was like, "Listen, this is gonna be my last chance, my last go round with this. I've shown that I can be an effective head coach. I'm getting the most out of what I can as a walk around coach. Now
Mhm.
this year, I know for me to keep my job." And it's so sad that this guy has gotten back to back 12-5 seasons, got us to the playoffs back to back, something we haven't done in 15 years. This guy's still sitting there on the hot seat for his job.
Yeah, man. So I think that as you said, now that he doesn't have Kellen in his way per se, he doesn't have any reservations about going all in.
No doubt.
Um, and that's kind of like the how should I say it? I don't
Come
want to
on.
be vulgar about it. They, they don't have to worry about them clipping his nuts, you know.
I mean, right, right. I
That
mean, right.
was
Listen,
the way they
he
went
he
about it.
he right. He doesn't get neutered on a
Yeah.
weekly basis of saying, "Hey, what do you got to do?" But like Space just said, man, and thanks for giving some time, Space. You can kind of rely on some different things that you want to see. We watched the triple tight end set early in the season. We saw it against oh my god, against the Bears, and we thought we were going to see that more and more. And then it turned around in Kellen Moore fashion. It shit vanished. It was like gone. It was like goddamn Casper. You
Yeah.
look up and it's not even out there on the field anymore. So I think getting to the point of having an identity, being able to build off things week to week to week, and then be able to say, "Hey, this is what we do." And then
Mhm.
when somebody does and say, "Okay, we're going to put this out on the field," bang, I can run something off of that to still be productive and have a semblance of my offense on the field.
Yeah.
No longer do we believe we'll have a great scheme, something we're doing one week, and then the next week we look like the damn, we look like the bad news bears out there without having any kind of semblance of what we're going to do. So identity, uh, structure to the point of what we're working through, and be able to utilize guys all year long. For us to turn around and see glimpses of Peyton Hendershot and Jake Ferguson, and then we don't see him forever, I think those days are gone.
Unacceptable.
And that's just, yeah, you can't do that. You wasted a whole year of people you could have found out what they could do, help them go forward. I think Here's one that we'll be able to talk about later. I think you don't get the best of Zeke because you're too busy trying to stick into a certain mold and not use people, that now you're looking at having no value for him. If you think about this, if you turn around and sit Zeke those 4 weeks in 2021, right? When his
Mm-hmm.
PCL is gone, his PCL is hurt, he's not able to go and be effective on the field. I think you get a better Zeke at the end of the year, and you start unleashing Tony Pollard to the point you're like, oh, okay, now we know what we're working with. You
Possibly.
follow me? Yeah,
Yeah,
right. So
possibly.
what? Right. So like this year when Zeke got hurt, we sat him down for 1 to 2 games. We sat him down for 2 games. You
Yes.
know, and then so you found out, oh shoot, Tony is this guy. Oh
Mm-hmm.
shoot, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Malik Davis is that guy. Oh my God. So and then once you found out those two guys, one was super explosive, one could play. You didn't build on that. It hurts me more to sit up. I'm gonna have to sit up and watch Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, and Miles Sanders play in the Super Bowl, and those three guys have significant carries, and I'm sitting here right now saying, God damn it, couldn't we have not done the same thing with Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, and Malik Davis to take pressure off of this team and run the football and be effective and do certain things in certain games where we needed just to, hey, let's just run the football better. Let's be more effective at running the football. It's just
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Another, I guess, major change that has to do with the shift in offense is moving on from Joe Philbin as your O-line coach to Mike
Hmm.
Solari. Um,
Okay.
another older guy. Mike Solari is almost 70. And the reason that I say that this is a major change, your offensive line coach kind of works hand in hand um, with your run game coordinator and your offensive coordinator to kind of help establish your run game plan. You know, um, now he may not have to coach up a lot of in Dallas's case because we have a lot of established offensive linemen. We got Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, whatever his role may be. Um, and Terrence Steele has kind of turned that corner now. He is injured and currently a free agent, mind you. But uh,
I just love how you will never
now wait, whoa. I am now a Terrence Steele apologist, an appreciator, if you will.
I think you're a Terrence Steele tolerator. I don't
Not
think you're an
not not
apologist.
even,
I
not even.
because okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let
I
you finish.
just
Go ahead.
recognize that currently he is not under contract with the team, and even if he were, he wouldn't play for 3/4 of the season. So but I digress because this isn't a draft show.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
Mike Solari may not have to do as much work as like some other O line like Joe Philbin didn't really have to do much, So it remained like as far as coaching the guys up because it was a lot of vets on that line.
I think of all the guys that you wanted to get rid of, right?
Mhm.
We got rid of Skip. We got rid of Skip Pete. We got
Yep.
rid of him.
Yep.
George Edwards, because I don't think we utilized everything we could get from the linebackers, because uh you didn't get Jabril Cox on the field, so that's criminal to me. And turn around and having Anthony Barr as well as the safety that played linebacker for us the year before.
Yep.
Um, God, and I'm losing his name, but
Kazee.
you didn't get, huh?
Kazee.
No, because he was a safety. The other guy we got from Atlanta, that was a safety before he came down and played linebacker for us.
Oh, okay.
And what?
Man, I
See,
can now
there you
remember
go.
his name.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, right. That's how ineffective he was. But
Yeah.
I think what ends up happening, of all the guys that you end up getting rid of, all the guys, I think Joe Philbin did the most work there. Joe
Hmm.
Philbin took Terrence Steele from being a guy who we didn't think could play to Terrence Steele being our second best offensive lineman. That once he left, the running game, dissipated
Keanu
to an
Neal. There we
alarming
go.
rate.
Thank you,
There
Joe.
we go, Cal. Thanks, man. Thanks, Joe. The running game fell off a cliff when he left. So I think Joe Philbin, even though he got a bad rap, wanting to play Tyler Smith out the gate when we all thought he was a better left guard or better player than Connor McGovern, Joe Philbin kind of didn't mesh with what the offense was trying to do. So I think getting Solari, he's coming in. He's got a track record. He's a teacher, but I think Joe Philbin wasn't as bad as we may believe. I think Joe Philbin got a lot. There's never. I mean, for him to turn around to lose his starting left tackle a week before the season starts, to take a guy who we thought arguably would be a penalty machine in Tyler Smith, and to get 17, and no, let's be honest, to get 19 games out of him this year, is commendable. For him to have the ability to take a gold jacket in waiting left tackle coming off injury, get him to switch to the right side, and get him to play where he may extend his career by playing him on the right side. He did well to get everything he got, the improvements he got out of Tyler Biadasz, getting healthy and being able to be a player that we can say, okay, we don't have to go get a center in the second or third round. We got our center there. I think Joe Philbin needs to get a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? As Wale would say.
So why do you think that he got the X then? And go ahead and answer that while I handle a technical difficulty. I'm going to turn off my camera.
No, but I think it was just to the point where they turned around and sat up and said, you know what? They kind of escorted some of Mike's guys out the building. Hey, George Edwards, he's your guy. He got to go. His assistant, Ron Davis, his assistant head coach, the guy who wasn't even a coach, but was kind of like his eyes and ears for the football team, he had to get about the building. So you got those guys out. I think that was kind of more along the lines, okay, you're going to walk my guys out, Leon. Let's no longer hear things of that nature. I think it was just to the point, okay, you're going to get rid of my guys, then you're going to get rid of your guy if I got to get rid of some of my guys. So I think getting Solaris back on the staff, somebody he's worked with before, and he can trust in that area, I think helps. He's a teacher. He's a technician. I think a lot of these guys get a lot more of the work that they need off season in different areas. But I think Solaris is going to have it to the point that they have a really good offensive line, and I think he's going to be able to develop some guys. There's some guys on this team that this is it for them. If they can't figure out this year that secret stash of damn photos of Stephen Jones in a clown suit or whatever. Or whatever it is.
Who has the pictures right now?
Whoever got them photos, right now, Josh Ball has them. Because before we thought, Josh got them. But Terrence got good, so he could turn them over and keep them on the roster. But I'm just being honest with you. I think Solara's going to be able to pick up where they're at and be able to go forward from there.
Okay. So one thing that you said that was interesting to me, that I kind of want to, I guess, raise a question mark on. You said that it was something to the effect of if Mike has to get his guys out, then he's gonna get their guys out. Do you think he has that much power?
Evidently so, because that's why Kellen's no longer here. Kellen was going to be their golden child. Kellen for them was like, hey, the Joneses have always hated the fact that Sean Payton got out the building, and he went elsewhere. So I think and so that's why they always kept Kellen. Well, we're going to keep Kellen because he's the next golden child. He's the guy to be able to do this. And so they were thinking they could turn around and get that together.
Okay.
So that's so I think that's, but I think what it turned around with them is saying, hey, we gonna take our guys. Let's get our guys back. Let's get our guys. Let's get our guy in. And I think that's
Okay.
what they did with the thing with Solaris and with Joe Philbin. So
Hmm.
I just think, yes, you gonna make me walk the plank. Well, I'm gonna walk the plank with my guys who I think can help me get over the top
There we
and
go.
help me and go from there.
There we go. He go down on his terms. I like it, and I can
Yeah,
respect it.
yeah,
So obviously, we can't get into a full blown draft show because this is not a draft show just yet. We still.
right,
I sent you a list of exactly 100 prospects today.
right,
Um,
right.
that that I painstakingly went through. You
It
know.
wasn't pain. It
Um,
was not. Don't sell that wolf ticket. It was not painstaking. It was a joy for you to do it.
yeah,
You've
well,
been dying to do
well,
it,
well,
and I think that's going to help us, going forward. So
yes.
everybody know who's rocking with us this late, man.
Mhm,
We're going to really push a lot of stuff that we did in draft
mhm,
content wise. Last year we kind of. I think last year we got hurt because of what happened the year before. The year
yeah.
before we got so into it and we wanted these guys that we scouted and we looked at. We got over personal with it. So
Yeah.
what we did this year, we had to take a chance. We went to counseling. We went to rehab. We understand that we can't get mad if the guys that we see don't come. So I think what we're
Mhm,
gonna be able to do this year for you guys, because we got some time. We got
yeah.
almost 6 8 weeks before the draft is going, and so we're like 4 or 5 weeks away from free agency itself. So what we're going to be doing is breaking down guys, putting more content out for you guys to take a look at
Mhm,
it, and we'd love for you to, if it's somebody that you're looking at, and say, hey, what do you think about it? Hey man, drop a comment, man. Drop a comment here in the video. Hit us
please.
on Twitter and
Mhm,
just say, hey, we can bounce that back and forth, and we can kind of build on this draft prospect, this draft journey that we're on. But right now, we want to be able to close the door on the 2022 season with the Dallas Cowboys.
mhm.
Didn't end the way we wanted, uh, but to go back to the playoffs 2 years in a row, um, there's promise of building what we have to do. But I think more than anything, B, tell me how after seeing all of this and seeing the direction we're trying to go, what would be your like final note on the Cowboys 2022 season for you?
Um,
Like if you had to put a title on the 2022 season, if they said, "Hey, B, we need you to give the title of the 2022 season," what would you call it?
met expectations
Mm,
because going into the season, I said that the Cowboys were an 11 or 12 win team. But to be totally honest, I didn't really expect them to go super far. Um, and you can kind of fact check us because the internet is forever.
okay.
Um, and that's right about where I said that we were gonna be.
Right. Hey Rod, he stay rubbing them butters, don't he? He keep rubbing them butters. He trying to make y'all seasick. I'm glad y'all ain't got Dramamine and throw it up, man. But I have to deal with it on a regular basis, man. But hey, he's gonna do it. So you said exceeding expectations or meeting expectations. What
It,
was it?
it met expectations of what I thought that they would do.
Okay.
They got 12 wins. I said that they would do 11, but cool, I'll take 12. And they got a playoff win. So
Okay. Okay.
it hit the mark.
Mm.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So meeting expectations. Um, I would call it winning in spite of. You
Fair
know,
enough.
winning in spite of everything going absolutely to the left. You turn around, like I said, you lose your starting left tackle
Mhm.
10 days before the beginning of the season. You lose your starting quarterback the first game of the season. You look abysmal. Like you said, the internet is forever. I am on record of going into draft season week 2. I had right brick on my brick. I didn't think we would do this. And I was trying to call Virgil. And long story short, man, they righted the ship. You found greatness inside of our defense. We looked like one of those ones for about 7 to 8 weeks. And then when things got back, Rain played at a great level, a very, very high level. A lot of mistakes, more than we were expected from him, which puts a lot of doubt in people's mind about who he is, or if he's that guy, or if he's him. For me, he's going to be him no matter what. But I also think they were able to manufacture offense, points, and wins with subpar units and not effectively using all of their pieces. You're not. You had a subpar wide receiver core. You didn't utilize your tight end group the way you should have. I thought I should have got more out of the Hindi, the Hindi and Ferg joint, and seeing more from Hendershot and Ferguson than we did. I didn't get a chance to really see as much of Malik Davis and Tony Pollard as I wanted to say, hey, we want to do that. So it would make it to the point that even if you wanted to do a large pay cut, which Zeke wants to do, it would just be to the point, it would be futile. So, and that would maybe even get some draft value or some trade value in Zeke, where we could turn around and make that transition more smoothly. Just they did stuff. I know that's a free agency.
Quick segue.
Go ahead.
And then I want you to get right back into it.
Yeah.
If somebody offers you a 5th rounder for Zeke, you trading them?
They taking that money? They taking that contract with it?
After the pay cut. Zeke is at $4 million. Zeke is at $4 million because that's the only way I'm keeping him. $4 million or less. Somebody offers you a 5th rounder, you keeping him?
Okay, follow me on this.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a new regime, and the new coach and the new offensive coordinator likes to use a fullback. If I can get Zeke in a fullback role, catching some catches out the backfield, being like the fullback they had in Green Bay, Coons, how Coons was a big effective piece. But my problem is there's always going to be this mindset that he can play tailback. And I believe you can get younger and more explosive by going and drafting a guy.
Exactly.
And so I'm as much as I love Ezekiel Elliott, and I follow his mom on Twitter, and I think they're amazing. For me to be effective going forward, I can't have Zeke Elliott on this football team.
There you go. There you go, man. I personally think that it is for the best that we, just move part amicably, because the ownership will always try to force
right.
No matter how ineffective.
Right.
So whether it is a post-June or a trade or what have you, I don't care how little his pay is. It's time to move on. Now, continue what you were saying.
No, I mean that's just this. That's all. I just keep saying. I don't think he's gonna be that explosive anymore. And I just think you have to run a system where you have multiple guys touching the football. Like I said earlier, to watch what Philly's doing and what other teams are doing. I mean, even Kansas City runs 2 or 3 different guys. It's just it's a regime. It's a position now where you get more by spreading it out than just having a bell cow guy run the ball all the time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think that's just the direction we should go. But I've loved him from when he came in 2016. I think wear and tear, and more than anything, and I'm a big guy of not getting in nobody's pockets. If the Joneses paid them, they decided to do it. They didn't have to. They did it. They got to reap the cost of dealing with that. But get that man his money as quick as possible can. I mean, he's 7 years. He's 7 years in.
Yeah,
he's 7 years in. He's done all he can do for us. I got to move forward. Too many good young backs in this draft that you can get in the second, third round that can do it. And Stephen Jones's favorite type of player are what?
Mm-hmm.
Young, talented, and cheap, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's his
There we go.
deal. He got to have it.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And I sent you plenty of them. I sent you plenty of them.
Oh, you did.
So
Oh, you did.
we have quite a few days to look over those names.
No
You
doubt.
know,
No doubt.
and the running backs that I sent you, I've watched. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've watched 6 of the running backs that I sent you. So I out of those 6, I like 5 of them.
Right. Absolutely. So we're good to go with that.
Absolutely.
All right.
So here's the thing about running backs, and this isn't a draft show, but the thing about running backs, you can roll the dice. You can roll the dice even in the mid round.
Oh yeah.
You can roll the dice in the mid round and
find a guy.
Yeah, find a guy.
Find a guy. As long as you get stronger and more effective in the trenches,
yes,
and he's got vision, he can find a hole. You can go find a guy, and he can be effective.
Absolutely.
I mean, we didn't think, we got Malik Davis. I think Malik Davis was an undrafted guy, or maybe a late, undrafted guy. Tony, you brought him in the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
You can go find a guy, and being that you can do certain things to help this offensive line get better and add some other different pieces, I think it's important. So we banging up right on about an hour, and we want to make sure we get out of here and keep it cost effective for everybody, especially because I got Brandon out here late in these streets. Yo, here's my question.
Yes.
And definitely want to ask the chat this. We're talking about a new regime. Mm-hmm. Does the front office finally change its philosophy and participate in all aspects of the team building mantra? Meaning, you look at your roster, you assess it, you find depth in different. You find where you can put depth in different places. Actively participate in free agents. Actively participate in free agency. Not do what you did, because in 2021 we brought a whole bunch of, Marshalls, Big Lots, Bart Family Dollar, bargain bin free agents, and then drafted. Mm-hmm. Do you honestly go and say, hey, let's work in the upper echelon? Can we go to Nordstrom's and go get us a nice piece? Not Nordstrom Rack. Go to Nordstrom's. Okay. Can we go to for anybody on here who's old? Can we actually go into Spiegel's catalog and go find us something? Find us something nice. Or are we gonna continue to deal with not fully using free agency so we can build our team? And I want your answer, but I definitely want what we think in the chat, what they think.
Okay, my answer might disappoint you.
Oh,
I don't think it's going to happen in 2023. I don't think it's going to happen in 2023, specifically because I think that 2023 is also another year of evaluation.
For who?
For
who are you evaluating? Oh no. Oh, that's a whole nother show. We ain't gonna be here all night doing that. We're gonna have to do that. That's gonna be a show we put out next week. We provide. Okay, all right. Okay. So you say it's a 2020. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And look, and the Super Bowl's in Vegas in 2024. Come on now. Yeah. They might not go all in and participate in free agency in 2020, but in 2024, that's gonna be the year. 2023 is a lot of it is another year of evaluation. There may be some disappointment in 2023. This might be another meets expectation, but
okay,
but just allow it to happen. That's all I can say. Just allow it to happen.
Okay. Well, listen, man. I think that's that lead. As always, you leave that teaser on the table to bring people coming back. You know what I'm saying? You hit us with the bold and beautiful teaser at the end, like what? And make people want to come back and kick it with us. So we've been rocking for about an hour, man. We
Yes.
appreciate y'all kicking it with us, man. But we also just want to say there are going to be more, and we going back and forth. There's going to be more content from us. So please continue to rock with us. So since you've been with us this hour, man, hit the like button, right? Because it's free currency out here in the free world, in this internet world. Gets us out there in the algorithm, gets us out there in the streets, and people will know more about us. Go ahead and share with your friends, your homies, your buddies, your cowboy lovers, as well as your cowboy haters. So they can go ahead and say, man, these guys know what they talking about, man. They don't know what the heck they talking about, man. But they spend that time with us. But more important, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us, man, and kick it with us. You can find me on the internet. Set it off, Chris. It's at underscore playmaker 88 underscore. You can find me there, man. And you can always find us at Frankly Football. And we're always there for us, man. Brandon, go ahead and plug your Twitter as well.
You can find us, of course, on Twitter at Frankly Football, and the last L is a 1. There we go.
No doubt, man. And as always, man, I am the Robin, man. I'm the sidekick. I'm the homie, man, that just tried to keep this thing lively. I will always be his sidekick, and this is my man, BH. And forever, we will be known as Frankly Football. And until next time, people,
Peace.